No intro, I'm just jumping straight into it. Last week, I released a video exposing the bot hosters behind TF2's cheating bot crisis for doxing, swatting, impersonation, slander, and much more. I provided all the evidence and assembled a document meant to share the proof. And let me just say it one more time for good measure. TF2 is being controlled by a group of bot hosters that will dox, swat, impersonate, and slander anyone who tries to speak out against them. God, showing the proof for that will never get old. And it appears since the upload of that video, I've only been proven right. Allegedly, some bots have started impersonating my voice as well, although I haven't been able to find one of these for myself yet. The bot hosters have also repeatedly attempted to DDoS this save.tf website to take it down. Keep in mind, DDoS attacks are illegal. By trying to clap back at us for starting FixTF2, the hosters have only been proving me right. Something needs to change, hence why I'm talking now. This video is to discuss FixTF2, what you can do to help, what not to do, and what we're doing differently from SaveTF2. A little while ago, I released a poll asking for your input on FixTF2, and the answers I received were very insightful as for what the community wants out of this movement. In total, I received 2,401 answers, and I'll be talking about your answers throughout the course of this video. The first half of the poll was asking for your insight on various popular methods to help fix the bot problem that I've seen floating around the community. For each of these questions, the answers ranged from extremely effective to extremely harmful. The first and most controversial method I want to talk about is what I'm going to refer to as the eye for an eye method. Essentially, exposing the bot hosters' identities just like they've done to others. In my first video, I disavowed this practice, saying that by exposing the identities of the bot hosters, we'd be stooping to the same level as the people we're condemning. That statement was met with many people disagreeing, stating that it's only fair that the bot hosters receive the same treatment that they've inflicted onto others. When asked in the poll, nearly a quarter of all voters believed that this method would be extremely effective in stopping the bot crisis. Only 26.9% of viewers voted that this method would even be harmful. It seems that the majority of people are in favor of this method. However, even if you do believe that, I still think that the eye for an eye method will be terrible for the movement. In regards to solving the bot crisis, the ball is very much in Valve's court. There isn't much we as a community can do to get rid of the bots. If we want to get rid of these guys, we're gonna have to send the message to Valve themselves. By exposing the bot hosters' identities, we are engaging in internet vigilantism. Valve isn't going to want to engage with the community that does that. It's terrible for the movement's optics. And even if you expose a bot hoster's identity, sure, there's the possibility that they'll get scared and stop hosting, but there's an even greater chance they retaliate with even stronger force, putting yourself at risk. No matter which way you go about it, this method should be written off as ineffective and dangerous. I think the answers to this question came entirely from emotion rather than logic. Do not engage with the bot hosters if you want to fix TF2. Another fairly divisive approach to fix TF2 is the notion of boycotting the game's economy and microtransactions. Looking at the results, you'll see that the answers to this question were spread all over the board. The main reason I've seen people scared of taking this approach is that if Valve sees that TF2's revenue stream has been cut off, they'll simply cut their losses and shut down TF2's servers. By boycotting TF2, you'd be directly killing the game. However, let me slap you with a very comforting reality check. Valve has put themselves in a corner. They can't shut down TF2. Ever. TF2's economy is the very thing keeping the game alive, and it's the reason Valve can't ever shut down the game. People have thousands of dollars invested into TF2. The total value of TF2's economy is in the millions. If Valve shuts down TF2 servers, it would raise hell 10 times more than the bot crisis ever will. Not only that, if TF2 servers were to be shut down, that would have negative ripple effects across the Counter-Strike economy. The Counter-Strike economy is incredibly lucrative. Just the gambling cases alone net Valve well over $60 million per month. If TF2 servers shut down, it would show Steam users that they don't actually own their items and they can be taken away at any moment, which would stop people from buying into Counter-Strike cases. On top of the effects it would have on the economy, if Valve's response to a massive outcry and boycott from their community is to shut down the game's servers, that would be insanely stupid from a business perspective. Valve would never be able to live it down. So, no, Valve will never shut down TF2's servers, and I think discouraging consumers from voting with their wallets could inhibit an otherwise effective strategy. Why? Because Valve is a business, and businesses love moolah. By depriving a business of a revenue stream, even if it isn't that grand, they're going to want to fix it. So I urge you to vote with your wallet. If you are tired of bots, stop paying Valve for TF2 items. Don't use the in-game shop, don't open cases, and don't buy items from the Steam community market. There's going to be an upcoming summer update for TF2. If you care about the game, don't spend so much as a single cent on it. I vow to personally never spend a dime on TF2 items until the bot crisis is taken care of for real, and I urge you to do the same. On the other hand, I've also seen people suggest the idea of boycotting Valve and Steam as a whole, and while I think it would certainly send a greater message, I don't think it's entirely practical. You gotta keep in mind that the Team Fortress 2 community is only so big and only has so much reach. Sure, we could organize a boycott centralized on one game, but boycotting Steam entirely is a bit of a stretch. We gotta work with what we got. So I say centralizing the protest around TF2 would be much more effective than spreading ourselves thin. It seems the community agrees with me, as over a third of voters voted that this method would be non-productive. Now that I've addressed the prospect of a boycott, allow me to talk about review bombing. Steam's review section has been a great avenue for players to voice their frustration with a product. Famously, people grouped together to voice their grievances with Overwatch 2, briefly making it the most negatively reviewed game on Steam. And there's even been the recent success story with Helldivers 2. While negatively reviewing TF2 may not be the most potent way of protesting, the risk to reward and commitment factor are too good to ignore. We've already established Valve can't shut down TF2. There's no reason not to negatively review TF2 on Steam, unless you count driving away new players. But I bet the hordes of aimbots are doing a much better job of that than our Steam reviews ever will. So now that I've talked about the smaller methods you can use to help protest, I want to discuss the centerpiece of the movement, the website and petition. I have collaborated with many other community members to create a website called save.tf that houses a built-in petition that you can sign. To sign, you'll provide your name, and we will print out all of the names onto something and physically deliver it to Valve. These names will make it to Valve. I will see to it. And ideally, I'd like to be able to deliver that message in person with a small handful of trusted community members. Every other method I've talked about thus far has been confined to the online space. Even if these methods could be effective, they could just as easily be ignored by Valve. I think we all have personal experience with that. However, a physical message being delivered in person from hundreds of thousands of fans, now that is unignorable. People in the past have suggested an in-person protest at Valve's HQ before, and while I think they're coming from the right place, the many people outside of Valve could be seen as annoying, and it could very well get out of control. Remember, optics are important. We want to show Valve that we mean business, but we don't want to turn this into an uncontrolled riot. This petition method still lets us deliver a message from the entire fanbase, but without the hassle of an entire physical protest. That's why I think it's the most effective way of protesting the bot crisis. We need to send the greatest and most concise possible message to Valve that we want the bots gone. We have the perfect opportunity to take the sentiment from the first Save TF2, enhance upon it, and swing even harder the second time. Which leads me to another thing I wanted to address. In the 2 years since the first iteration of Save TF2, the movement has received its fair share of criticism. And while I don't personally believe it, many look back upon it today as a failure. Over half of all voters believed that Save TF2 was a failure, with only 20% of voters disagreeing. I want to first and foremost say that this time is different. And let me tell you why by addressing some of the biggest complaints with the last Save TF2 effort and how we're applying your feedback. When asked in the poll, a vast majority of people voted that the first Save TF2 was too soft on Valve. That's why this time we are keeping the spotlight on Valve as a company. The ball is in their court, and we need to make them throw the goddamn ball. This is why we're sending the petition directly to Valve. That's why I'm asking you to review the game on Steam and boycott microtransactions, to force Valve's hand into taking action. If the first save TF2 was playing soft, this time we have to show Valve that we mean business. Which leads me to the next criticism of the first save TF2. When asked if the first save TF2 focused too little on the bot crisis, only 13.4% of voters disagreed. Your message was clear. We need to focus more on the bot problem. With the first save TF2, we asked you to promote your love of the game using the hashtag. And while this did have the effect of getting a lot of eyes on TF2, many outsiders were confused as to what the movement was about. Was it about the bots? Was it about updates? Was it about bug fixes? The intended message got lost in the noise, which led to a vague PR response from Valve where they dodged accountability for the bot crisis. This time, we are keeping 100% of the focus on the bots to make the problem unignorable. It's a major reason we created a centralized website for the movement. We wanted to have an easily shareable resource that tells you immediately what the problem is while also offering a solution to help. We are more organized, we are more concise, and we have a specific goal of notifying the public of the bot crisis and nothing but the bots. We want people to click on the hashtag and within 5 seconds know exactly what the problem is and how to help. The final criticism is the most controversial, but I believe addressing criticism is important, so I still want to talk about it. A vocal criticism of the last Save TF2 movement was that it focused too much not on the message, but who was presenting it. Essentially, many people believe that the first Save TF2 was done for self-promotion purposes. This is a sentiment that I couldn't disagree with more. Personally, my intentions with Save TF2 were never for personal gain. But to the people who did get that impression from the first movement, just know that we heard you. This time around, we are not putting any special focus on any community members. In all of our promotional material and on the website, we are not naming anyone in particular. Fix TF2 is a movement for the community at large. Anyone can participate, and everyone is encouraged to do so. Now, since this is a movement where anyone can participate, this does mean that we can't prevent everyone who does have selfish motives and wants to do some good old-fashioned grifting.
Do you like free items? Then here you go.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But as a collective, we are not placing any special attention on certain members, so 100% of the attention can rightfully be on the problem at hand. We have carefully listened to your criticisms of the first movement, and we are applying them so that this go-around is completely different. And as a community, I think you guys are with me. When polled, half of the voters stated that they were extremely likely to participate in the event, and less than 5% of voters stated that they were unlikely to participate. When polled, you guys also showed me that you were cautiously optimistic as well, erring towards Valve likely responding. And I feel the same way. Am I personally confident that Valve will listen to the community and finally get rid of cheating bots? I don't know, possibly. But what I do know is that doing nothing at all never gets anyone anywhere. And a million times over, I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. I am doing all of this because I have an undying passion for this game, and I really wholeheartedly want to see this game in a better place. And I bet nearly all of you feel the same way as I do. So even if this whole thing is a swing and a miss, we went down swinging. So let's get swinging. In the description of this video, you can find valuable resources regarding the bot invasion and how you can help support Fix TF2. Thank you for listening to my whole spiel, and thank you for helping.